When he beat Rockhold, that's my single favorite MMA moment in history.
Really?
I'm not like a obnoxious Bisping fan or anything, but that just was a culmination of a dude who put in so much time, and he did everything to make it a business. He did everything, and then he not only steps in and fights, just a killer in Rockhold, who I thought was been underrated his whole career. Like he's just insanely good, but he'd already lost to him, convincingly, like bad.
Got subbed in the first round. Yeah.
And older guys don't come back and beat younger guys in rematches ever.
Right, especially on short notice.
On short notice, when he had a whole camp and has every reason to not have confidence, and like 90% or more fighters would have just been like, "No, I'm out." Like, no way. He takes the fight. Like, no one would take that fight because if you lose twice to the champion, you're done.
Right.
Because you're not gonna get third. Just every risk possible, and he just nails like just unbelievable.
Clips him and knocks him out. Yeah.
Amazing. Like I loved Rockhold, but that was just incredible.
It really was crazy, and you could really tell that Rockhold just thought he was going to win that fight no matter what.
Right.
But this is a done deal. Totally underestimated him. Bisping's so scrappy. Like he's one of the most mentally tough guys in the sport because he doesn't have like some freakish Yoel Romero athleticism or anything. It's just hard work.
He's not particularly fast.
No.
He's not he's not super mobile. He's very skilled.
And he's got a lot of physical issues too.
He
can't even see out of one eye.
Yeah.
He's had a bunch of issues with like joints and discs and
he doesn't move
knee
well
injuries.
anymore.
No.
And he's not big for the division or anything. Doesn't have
fucking
like
people up. Well, he's pretty big for 185.
Well, not like amazing. He's not like towering over Weidman or Rockhold. Like
no,
he's not beating
those guys. Are
with
giant.
size.
Yeah, those guys are giant.
And he doesn't have some amazing skill set either way. He can fall back on a world championship in wrestling to get through. Like he just is like pretty good at everything.
Yep. Yeah.
And still just finds a way
Tough.
to get him. He's a guy I would love to biopsy and figure out like how much slow twitch and fast twitch does he have.
34 beats per minute resting heart rate.
Yeah, he's fit.
Yeah, that's
super
a big
fit.
factor. It's a big factor, and that he could push a tremendous pace and then keep it going.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite fights of Michael's was when he beat Kung Lee.
Oh yeah,
because he just overwhelmed him, and,
Right.
and just you see Kung starting to get tired, and Bisping just poured it on.
Yeah.
Just gave him a beating, and that was sort of in a lot of ways like a shift towards. I mean, he was always a world-class fighter. There was a shift towards like the upper end of the division.
It was a big moment for his career too, because if he lost that, that's probably about night for him in terms of.
Yeah, he could say that, but he doesn't give a fuck.
Oh,
I mean,
no,
he got
doesn't.
knocked
You're right.
out by Vitor, comes right back. You know, he got knocked out by Henderson, comes right back.
He's one of the guys. I've been around him a bit. He's hilarious, but he's one of the guys where again, like he doesn't. You're just not going to shake him like that.
No,
not at all.
He's undeniably tough.
Yeah, and he's undeniably like when he says like, "Oh, I'll fight that dude." Like, he legit.
Oh yeah,
he's there.
Yeah,
and you can say like, "Oh, he's scared of Romero." No, he's not. Like he's not scared of any of these dudes.
No,
he's trying to cash in when he should. Like,
well, I think the Bisping GSP fight is a fascinating fight. It's fascinating. First of all, GSP's never fought at 85. He comes back. He fights for a world title. It makes it compelling.
Yeah.
I just wonder, this is unfortunate, but I wonder how many of these young new fans, I would like to say like post-Ronda Rousey fans, how many of them even know who the fuck GSP is?
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of...
My wife definitely does.
Well, she's a fan.
Yeah.
But I mean, I wonder of how many of the new ones, you know, the people coming up actually know who he is. And I mean, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
You know?
A couple of years, right?
More than that.
Yeah.
And when did he lose to Johnny Hendricks? I want to say it's 3 years ago, at least. At least.
Yeah. Well, beat Johnny Hendricks.
Yeah. I'm not a big believer in that decision. I feel like at most that was a draw. I felt like Hendricks got the most of it.
My buddy Troy's brother had $50K on Hendricks on that fight.
Did he?
Yeah. And afterwards he's like, "Here we go. Like, we're done."
That Hendricks thing was interesting because Hendricks is one of those guys that like you go like, what happened to that guy?
Yeah.
You know, like what?
A lot of speculation on that where you can all read between the lines there.
Well, that's the problem, right?
Yeah.
There's the USADA speculation. There's the motivation speculation.
Yeah.
There's a lot of speculation.
You also have that thing, too, with guys like that put in that many years of wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And you start competing that hard that young.
Mm-hmm.
Like that
wears on you.
There's a time frame that you just run out of.
Yeah, there's a people believe there's a 9-year window as a world class fighter. I've heard that before.
It depends on the sport, but yeah, that's probably fair.
As a fighter, and that as a fighter, like when you get to MMA in particular, guys have like 9 years to compete at a world class level, and then the wheels just fall off.
Yeah, get in, get your money, get out.
Yeah, if you can.
Yeah.
If you can. Yeah, that's why at 38. I think Bisping's 38. That GSP fight's the right move.
Oh, for 100
It's the right move anyway. Yeah.
And what does Bisping typically do well with, like, the fighters? Like, he handles wrestlers decently well. He's a very good defensive wrestler.
Yes.
His styles can be fantastic.
Yeah.
He doesn't get tired, which is what GSP relied on a lot. His
stamina.
Conditioning was great.
But that stamina, like, is dependent upon activity. Like, even if you're just physically fit, but you haven't fought in a long time, I don't necessarily know if it's applicable.
Yeah. Well, it's also going to be different, too, with, we'll see what he does weight-wise.
Yeah.
So what people don't understand about when you watch professional athletes, fighters in particular, is a lot of what happens in that fatigue is either psychological or it's bad weight cut stuff. So now he doesn't have that, but if he's lugging around extra weight that he's not used to, potentially problematic depending on how he does it. Now, he's got some smart people in his camp, so he's probably going to be fine.
Yeah.
But that's a real problem that he may or may not be ready for.
Yeah, if he's lugging around extra weight. But he was always walking around somewhere around 185, 190. He might just decide to compete at that weight.
That's what I mean. Like, if he stays there, he's probably fine. But if someone gets in his head and tries to get him up to 202 or